4 short decades ago, the people of Papua New Guinea were the last survivors of the Stone Age. One of the last peoples to be discovered, they are learning about an outside world they didn't know existed. Papua New Guineans now struggle with staggering changes. The routine and rituals of thousands of years have been exchanged for a world which changes almost daily. The unexpected is now their way of life. Preoccupation with tribal warfare had dominated every aspect of the New Guinean culture for centuries. The life-changing message of Jesus Christ is uniting these enemy clans to form churches. Who would ever expect this ground where countless gruesome battles were fought would become a baptismal site, where in October of 1988, 20 new converts testified to the transforming power of Jesus Christ.
We arrived in Papua New Guinea in August of 1985. The months of anticipation did not prepare us for the rugged yet beautiful country. Roads like thin ribbons wound around steep mountains. Bridges with uncertain life expectancy groaned and sometimes broke under the weight of our four-wheel drive vehicle. When we arrived at our destination, we reflected on God's watchful care. The Wesleyan Church in Papua New Guinea is committed to ministering to the whole person. Beginning in 1959, Wesleyan World Missions has been instrumental in setting up medical clinics and elementary schools. Presently, at each of the 3 mission stations, a thriving school offers education to some 700 children. And each of the schools is led and taught by capable nationals.
Our primary focus is church planting. Of the more than 700 language groups, the Wesleyan Church is seeking to effectively minister to 4 of these groups. Traditionally, these people were preoccupied with separate cultures. It would be unexpected that these groups would ever cooperate. Yet the Holy Spirit brings unity in the midst of diversity. At present, the Wesleyan Church of Papua New Guinea has 55 churches in 5 districts. National Superintendent Yawija Tukaja was the first to catch a vision and leave the familiar surroundings of his tribespeople to bring the message of salvation to the people of a distant tribe. Who would expect that in a little over 10 years, a clinic and an airstrip would be carved out of the jungle, as well as 12 churches. The cities of Papua New Guinea are growing at unprecedented rates. National Superintendent Yawija and other national leaders daily grapple with an ever-changing and developing society. Young people who've had greater educational opportunities present tremendous challenges to the national church. A constant emotional tug-of-war is experienced between the old and the new. Educated young men migrating to the cities often resort to a life of crime because they are unable to get jobs. And 65% of our pastors have very little, if any, formal Bible training. In February of 1987, the national church leaders met with missionaries to develop a training program. It was decided that there are 3 levels of education that require our attention. The Theological Education by Extension program was developed for pastors who would be unable to move to a training center. Bible studies and requirements for ordination could be studied by correspondence while pastors continue to serve their local congregations. A continuing education program was developed to provide pastors and church leaders with courses which would equip them for effective service. Workshops and seminars give unique opportunities to our national brethren to develop their gifts for ministry. A discipleship course was developed for young people to deepen their walk with God and equip them for lay ministry in the local church. District Superintendent Hariwa shared his vision for the capital city of Port Moresby. Since 1987, a group of Wesleyans have been meeting for fellowship, praying that God would burden someone's heart to come to Port Moresby. They had prayed, but didn't expect the magnitude of God's moving. Land was miraculously granted to the fellowship, with the stipulation that $100,000 of improvements would be completed in 1 year. How was the money to come in? In the 1989 National Conference, action was taken to begin collecting support for Hariwa and his family. One teacher arranged for 20% of his salary to be deducted from his paycheck and deposited for this ministry. In unexpected ways, God began to provide. Your prayer support is essential as Pastor Hariwa, along with missionaries Walter and Dorothy Hodgkin, begin the Urban Church Planting Project in Port Moresby. The Wesleyan Church in Papua New Guinea is prayerfully committed to planting 2 new churches each year, totaling 24 new churches by the year 2000. Growing small cities like Goroka and Oktedi are being targeted for future urban ministries. Your prayers make a difference. Your fervent intercessory prayers and financial support are an important part of our ministry in Papua New Guinea. Join us in prayer for National Superintendent Yawija Tukaja, District Superintendent Hariwa, and the Church Planting Project in Port Moresby. Pray for the Theological Education program. Pray for our missionary families, Mission Coordinator Jim and Judy Kyle Holtz, Walter and Dorothy Hodgkin, Paul and Rebecca Ihara, and Charlie and Lee Groth Olson. Pray as we look forward to our return to Papua New Guinea. Pray that God will bless the ministry He has called us to in the land of the unexpected.